What are the strangest, goofiest, psychosis-inducing Black Sabbath songs of all time? That's what we're going to talk about here in this show. I've always kind of wanted to do. I did a really cool top 20 list over at Goldmine on the weirdest Blue Oyster Cult songs, and I've never actually tackled this one. So we're going to look at Black Sabbath songs here that are strange or out of character. We know what the character of Black Sabbath is. But yeah, just the oddball Black Sabbath songs. I thought I'd wear Voivod for this one because Voivod are probably the band that most epitomize weird Black Sabbath songs. What do you think of that idea? Anyways, here we go. So I'm going to do this in reverse order as usual. I'm going to start with A Bit of Finger, Sleeping Village, The Warning. This whole thing is weird of the idea of these Black Sabbath songs broken up into pieces or combined. And much of that album is pretty weird in itself. But yeah, if you look at this, Black Sabbath, probably weirdest as a rule, is the way they were on the first album, where it's sort of a little bit jammy, a little bit aimless, a little bit bluesy. It's a little bit jazzy here and there. There's some acoustic. So I just thought I'd glom all this together. It's also weird that they do a cover, that they're doing The Warning here, Ainsley Dunbar Retaliation song, right? So there you go. Number 20, A Bit of Finger, Sleeping Village, The Warning, just a unfurling exploration and journey in weirdness. Number 19, let's go way forward to Psychophobia from Cross Purposes, the Tony Martin era. Now, this song I've always just found the chord sequences and the melody and the vocal melody and the vocal phrasing just strange and sweet and sour, just nose wrinkling. So there we go. Number 19. Number 18, Changes. I know people like this song. I just always found it weird in terms of the strangely sort of sublime gospel feel of it. And the fact that it is piano, we don't associate Black Sabbath with piano. There's no drums, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I just find it, even though this is a band that periodically throughout the early days gave us various types of mellow music. This is kind of like an oddball piece of mellow music. It's a little almost too serious, not an instrumental for one, right? Speaking of instrumentals, at number 17, I've got Embryo from the Great Master of Reality album. I always talk about this album as being the old Black Sabbath album that I love the most. It doesn't feel old to me, but this is strange for its Renaissance classical feel. It's just a short acoustic intro. But yeah, it's got an interesting, very, very like old timey historic sort of sound. Number 16, zoom forward again, Born Again from the Born Again album. I've always found that one really odd. It's almost like they're back in the Black Sabbath zone on that. It's very old sounding. Of course, it's just weird because Ian Gillan is on that album. And I find the lyrics strangely awkward, as is the rhythm on it. As well as the guitar. Everything's just strange about that song. It's an odd song to put on an album in 1983. Number 15, I've got The Battle of Tyr from Tyr because it's full classical. It may as well be Manowar at that point. It's just jarring to hear them go that fully classical. Of course, it's just a short instrumental piece. Number 14 is kind of a weird one. I'm putting the Writ in here. I've always found the arrangement and the textures in that song really, really odd. I mean, that whole album is just a glorious pile of weirdness. It is my favorite album of all time. And I think the Writ is the song on there that is the least obvious sounding. It's the least based around a riff for a full-blown heavy Black Sabbath song. It's incredibly slow. Just super interesting, and it is weird, and even the title is weird, right? 13, I've got The Illusion of Power from Forbidden, mainly for the Ice-T rap. That makes it very weird, but also I find the, again, like Psychophobia, I find the chords strange, and what Tony Martin does on it with the sort of verbal diarrhea of words, like the odd off-kilter vocal phrasing on it. I mean, I like it. I like that it's weird, but it is weird. Number 12, I'm going with Rat Salad. So now we have an early instrumental from the band. It's on Paranoid. It's fairly jazzy. but I've always found it odd. I mean, you could say Fairies Wear Boots is a little bit weird on this album. There are a few other things. Number 11, I'm going up to Technical Ecstasy for You Won't Change Me. I've always found this song super odd in that it occupies kind of a non-nameable space. It's not exactly heavy metal. It stops, and then Ozzy sings over that eerie Exorcist sort of keyboard part from Jazz Woodruff on there. And then it picks up, and it's got kind of a major key kind of feel in a part of it. So yeah, it's just an odd one that doesn't fit any sort of category on this album. Next, I'm going with Disturbing the Priest from Born Again. Again, this is a very sort of proggy, oddly rhythmic song, noisy. We know the story of, Ian Gillan talks about how they were literally disturbing the priest next door when they were practicing, right? Or recording. Yeah, practicing, I suppose it is. Or there is this recording. Anyways, and the priest knocked on the door and they sorted it out. You can play in these hours and these hours. But yeah, I just find it to be an oddly daring. This brings up a point. I've got no songs on here from Heaven and Hell or The Mob Rules because I don't think they're very weird on that. And I think that's to the detriment of the Dio years, where they're just very accessible and obvious, and they're just really not going to try anything weird. And so you really see the contrast when you come up to something like a Disturbing the Priest, because it's a very oddball sort of arrangement or structure to the song. Rhythmically speaking, I'd say the most. Number 9, I've got Never Say Die. This song just always struck me as very straight lined and punky, and just hearing them ring out in those kind of in kind of, again, a major chord feel. Ozzy singing very sunny up top. And it gets a little dark at the chorus, which is kind of cool. We kind of forget that, but it just feels like a completely different wiring of the brains when it comes to the writing for this band. Number 8, I've got Rock and Roll Doctor, which is kind of, you could say, some of the same sorts of things. But the funny thing about this one is it's like a barrel house boogie rock and roll sort of structure, and this is like something these guys never did. And you even get like the piano in there as well. The lyrics are very accessible. It's just very, very odd for them to do something like this. And I often say that it literally is the closest that they actually come to the blues, this band, right? Next, I've got Basically, Geezer Butler doing an Anesthesia Pulling Teeth, but 13 years earlier, right? So it's just a bass solo, but, it's odd to have in here. Number 6, I've got Planet Caravan, which has all sorts of strange, talk about, the song on here that's maybe the biggest acid trip, although we got an acid trip coming up a little later. But so this with the watery, strange vocal, just very muffled, and the strange tinkly sounds and everything. And obviously it's not a heavy metal song, so it's weird for that reason. 5, we've got Who Are You from Sabbath Bloody Sabbath. And this is odd because it's very much based around synthesizer. It's an Ozzy. Ozzy's writing it. Ozzy's doing like this. He came up with this sort of synthesizer idea, and it's got a full arrangement and drums and stuff like that. But it is just a very odd song for them to do. When this album came out, everybody thought they were being, proggy or accessible or moving away from heavy metal. It's really not that. But this is one of a few songs on here that definitely feels that way. Very similar to Who Are You? They kind of follow this up with Am I Going Insane? I've always put these two songs kind of together. And this one just has a really weird thespian Shakespearean sort of vocal melody to it. We've got the laughing and the crying and the slowed down, it's very creepy. But it's also just it is very Am I Going Insane? So talk about weird. This is like a song that can drive you crazy kind of thing, right? Number 3, sticking with the same album, Superczar. This is absolutely the band near the weirdest they ever got. and we've got classical like Gregorian chanting on it. It's like a heavy metal classical song. We've got the bells, we've got the angelic singing in it. It's just incredibly odd, and I think it's a brilliant addition to this album that just helps it be so creative. I often talk about this album against Led Zeppelin. Physical Graffiti, for example, is maybe my favorite albums of all time, and I find them doing things like this and the Red and Don't Start Too Late and the second half of Symptom of the Universe. Like, there's a lot of weirdness all over this album, and I think it just makes them look way more creative than Led Zeppelin. Number 2, I've got Air Dance, up to the Never Say Die album, which everybody thinks is just weird. There's a lot of weirdness on here. You could say Junior's Eyes is strange. Johnny Blade, Bill Ward singing on Swinging the Chain. We've already put Never Say Die in here. So yeah, this whole album is considered odd. It's got odd production values as well, but Air Dance is a weird sort of jazzy, angelic, but still uneasy kind of like jazz ballad. So yeah, that's enough to make it a weird Black Sabbath song. And then number 1, I think everybody would pick this one, Breakout, from the same album. This is like a krautrock instrumental. It's completely bizarre. It's got some weird, strange guitar tones in it, odd, slow, acidic acid trip drumming in it. It's got the horn arrangement, which brings it to classic, krautrock as well. So yeah, absolutely. I think that is the weirdest Black Sabbath song of all time. So there you go. Let us know what you think. I thought I'd just knock off kind of a fun show. Go see our other Black Sabbath ones. There's a lot of debate. We've got the most commercial songs. And what the heck was the other one? Commercial songs. I can't remember. Anyways, there's another Black Sabbath one that's getting a lot of debate as well. But yeah, and notice that we're also up to Black Sabbath in the Who Invented Heavy Metal series we're doing. So there you go. Let us know in the comments below what you think of this show. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. MartinPopoff.com for my books. I've got an audio podcast called History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff. Actually, go over to Goldmine, just put in Martin Popoff articles in the search, and Martin Popoff Goldmine articles. You'll see all the list of all these top 20s I've done, and go read that Bluish Occult one. I thought that was pretty interesting as well. But there you go, the top 20 weirdest Black Sabbath.